This video is sponsored by Bityard. With over 400 cryptocurrencies to choose from on their spot exchange, dozens of USDT pairs for futures trading, perpetual coin futures, trade commodities like gold, silver and oil, Forex, and major indices like Nasdaq. You can buy crypto from Bityard with over 50 different fiat currencies using Visa, MasterCard, Google or Apple Pay. If you like, you can use their copy trade facility, follow other traders who will execute trades on your behalf, or become a copy trader yourself. So if you want a bit of that, click the link in the description. Hello everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel, which is effectively a broken record. So in a nutshell, we're just going to run through this broken record. I'm sure you've heard it all before. I've not made that many videos at the moment. We're still school holidays at the moment, so I haven't got enough time to even scratch my ass at the moment. But I've managed to get her on the tablet at the moment. The other one's sleeping, so let's get down to it. So effectively, in summary, the broken record remains as such: consolidation, breakout of the consolidation trend line. Okay, that would normally mean a accumulation. At the moment we're accumulating within this ascending channel, right? At the moment we're having a nice reaction from the other day, which hints towards the fact that we're going to move back up to the top of the ascending channel, right? That from the bottom to the top, from this wick here at least anyway, to up to the top, is a 27% move. So that I'm not saying is extremely likely, but it looks like we're going to continue with this kind of rhythm. Now we could get rejected on the 200 exponential, which is about 44,300, get rejected on the 200 simple moving average, which is 48,000. We could make it up to the top of this range, or we could go all the way up to 52, and then we could go beyond. All of that is possible, but like I said in the past, ascending channels like this, you know, rising channels, they do have a habit of actually breaking down. So whether we, you know, get rejected at one of these and then come back down to the bottom and then actually break down where we find a lower move out, or we move all the way up to the top and then break down, all of that again it's all as likely as each other. Like I say, the strongest thing I have to say about this entire thing is that this is like a giant accumulation. It's not even that big when we think about what we've accumulated in the past, especially with altcoins have a much bigger range than this. It's about 60%. We've accumulated in ranges of over 100% before, because we're talking about volatile assets, and with that comes huge reward, but at very choppy ranges. So we are getting a choppy range. That's why I made that video before I went away with the family about, you know, don't get lost in the chop. The chop is that. It is choppy. Accumulations are choppy, and it looks a lot like an accumulation. It looks even more like it when you bring it down to a 4-hourly. So normally when, because I mean everyone's got their opinion, everyone's got their own trading style, whether it's Elliott waves, itchy clouds, you know, momentum trading with moving averages, or whatever it is that you decide that you want to use to trade. Right? Everyone has an opinion, and everyone's valid to an opinion. The only thing that really matters is profit. To be honest with you, you're only right if you've made profit. You're only wrong if you've lost. And just to recap, sold around this about 54,000 before this big dump, based upon what was going on with the virus, and bought back incrementally in this accumulation range, one being 40,600, the other being 35,000. And so the only thing that matters is profit. Thou is in profit. All right, so I'm in profit. So at the moment it seems to be working out. But if we look at what we're seeing here, so after this super death cross, so that marked effectively a top, and the trend really beginning to move down. Again, momentum trading is my preference, and this was a change of momentum. We saw a golden cross, followed by a death cross, followed by a golden cross and a death cross, and a golden cross and a death cross, and probably over the next few days maybe even another golden cross. So this isn't really momentum. This is a big shift in momentum. That's a signal in a way to look at and go, oh god, okay, fair enough, momentum is definitely shifting to the down, getting rejections on the 200 exponential. But this time around, moving averages are almost useless, right? So there is no momentum trading going on here. Well, we're meandering up and down, up and down, up and down. This is what I often say to people on the Patreon. I say, look, when we get things like this, it does look a lot like accumulation. Accumulation is when moving averages end up blending into one, and it looks like the proton pack from Ghostbusters shooting a ghost out of the air. That's basically what they start to look like, and that's basically what we're getting here. There is no moving average of any significance here which is holding any relevance. we're just accumulating, which is showing that the buyers are stepping in. Buyers are generally coming in at higher levels, suggesting that actually, to be honest with you, you could focus on the support and be quite bullish on that. You could even focus on the resistance and go, okay, that's good as well. People are, the price is getting higher each time. Just because this is a typically bearish formation, as in we break down from these, doesn't mean we break down to massive lows. It just means that we're more likely to take a dip down before we, rather than breaking out. Just because that is the case doesn't mean that that is the case, right? Well, there is a fix on this chart. We do seem to have that, and it does look relatively good. It's not as bearish as, let's say, a rising wedge. That's more bearish. This is a channel. There is every chance that we break out of this channel, but while we're in it, we are in it, and I expect it to come back up to the top or break down from the bottom. Neither here nor there. The thing is, I've been saying the whole time, this giant area is the main area of accumulation. So you should really accumulate on, I mean, this is me talking to myself. You guys do what you want to do, obviously, but I've accumulated within here. So far it's worked out okay. There's been days where it's not looked particularly good, but generally it's worked out okay. Sell over here, buy down here, buy down here. Accumulate in this range. If it goes down further, guess what I'll be doing? I'll be buying it even further down. That's what I'll be doing. It's pretty simple stuff, and I think with the Patreon members, one thing that some of the guys seem to say to me is that since following you, since learning it is that what you do is that one of the main things that I've learned isn't particularly about the indicators and how you use them. It's about changing my habits from over trading, because there really is no need to overtrade, especially as a spot trader. You really don't need to overtrade. And it's been as simple as that. There's been 3 trades, one last year towards the end of the year where we sold, 2 this year where we bought. Thus far working out okay. So if we're thinking about this on the 4-hourly, it is peaking a little bit high, to be honest, in the short term, coming up to what could be a natural resistance between the 200 exponential and the 200 simple, so maybe about 43,250 perhaps. But again, I'm completely open to this shredding through all of this and coming up to the top of the range. It does look like another bounce from the bottom of that range. There's no reason to dispute that that is the case. I had a brief look at the Dixie today, and that looks like it wants to reject. We are about to incur a cross. We've got positive ticks on the histogram, a breakout of the RSI as well, and the money flow index floating back up again. All of that looks really good. I also checked the 3-day. So even though we're not across the peaked above the 0 point yet, we're still in the green as far as positive histograms. Never had a negative cross on the MACD itself. Slowly but surely building up the money flow index and this upwards channel of its own, suggesting that money, despite what people might think, money is flowing in on a larger term time frames. And if we have a look at the weekly, what do we see? We still see positive histogram ticks, no negative cross. We see money flow index snaking up. It all looks pretty good to me, in all fairness. Again, I'm very much in favour of this being one large accumulation zone, and somewhere down the line you will look back and go, I wish I wasn't trying to be so clever trying to catch that bottom, because it ended up doing something like this. It's not going to make you a millionaire, but it will be a decision, the way I see it, a decision worthy of taking. I've been in this market for many years now, and the best time to buy is after a spring sale, which is what we've had now. And that is your broken record for today. There's no need to go into it any further. If you think about altcoins, the general thesis I have on altcoins is that rather than waiting for a giant rotation, some of these lows on some of these coins are pretty low, and the market appears to trend as one for the most part. There might be a point where Bitcoin actually has a big breakout and goes up to a new all-time high and beyond, and that might leave alts behind it, and at that stage we'll be waiting for a larger rotation, so for the money to leave Bitcoin and go into altcoins, and then altcoins completely just go crazy again. But at the moment it would appear that if Bitcoin's happy, everything else is happy. We've seen this in the market before. It doesn't necessarily have to remain this way, but for the moment it is, and it would suggest that if Bitcoin is accumulating in this range, then altcoins for the most part are also accumulating in this range. Now there's lots of piles of crap out there that I wouldn't suggest you buy, so when I say the word altcoin, don't just go pressing buttons on everything that you see. I mean, my thesis is that the market will accumulate and Bitcoin will determine the health of the market. So if Bitcoin is accumulating, altcoins are also accumulating, but the market is being driven by Bitcoin. So let's focus on the Bitcoin chart. Everything else can come as a close second, and don't expect to see anything amazing from them at any point soon. But generally speaking, everything seems to be reasonably low at the moment, and you've got to be in it to win it. And I'm not suggesting that you buy coins that look terrible because you think they're going to go back up to their all-time high. It's a bit of a noob thing. I used to get lots of messages on my Telegram saying, but aren't all altcoins going to return to their all-time high? No, there's no reason for that to happen. This isn't like some kind of computer game where things are coded to work out a certain way. That's not the case. They could do, they might not, who knows what they'll do. But the one thing I can say is that there are a lot of altcoins out there that do have a decent projection for the future. And I'm not suggesting you go off and buy them blindly, but why not have a little flutter? Some of these things are gambles, some of them less so, but everything right now, I believe very strongly, is accumulating. And I say it all the time, I'll say it again, I quite like the phrase actually, timing the market is not as good as time in the market. I've told you about my exit points, which was about 54,000. Fair enough. My entry points were staggered, 40,600 and 35,000. Fair enough. Neither of those were the top, nor were they the bottom, but it ended up being reasonably decent trading. So timing the market is quite difficult, especially if you're like me with family and responsibilities and lots of cleaning to do. But time in the market will almost always, especially for Bitcoin so far, redeem any poor entry point that you may have had. You could be like Matt Damon and his following, who bought effectively the top. I'm sure that somewhere down the line those tops will look like very appealing entry points for some, but not right now. Anyway, nice ramble over, broken record finished. So hopefully we'll see something outside of this range at some point soon, whether an up or a down, it doesn't really matter, but for the moment we're still the same as we have been for a long time. Anyway, thank you for watching, take it easy.
Pas en pite.